Hello, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the Virtual Advanced Air Mobility, or AAM, Research and Transition Collider, brought to you by the Ohio Federal Research Network, JobsOhio, Fly Ohio, Drive Ohio, and the Ohio Unmanned Aerial System, or UAS Center. My name is Matt Bush. I'm the Director of Strategic Development for the Ohio Federal Research Network, or OFRN, which is a program managed by Parallax Advanced Research Corporation on behalf of the Ohio Department of Higher Education. The OFRN program creates research and development partnerships among academia, industry, and government to drive economic development through innovation while promoting and expanding Ohio's aerospace legacy. A little bit about myself. I have over 10 years of experience in the Office of Secretary of Defense, where my final role was as a presidential appointee working directly for the Undersecretary of Defense for Policy on Indo-Pacific and Special Operations matters. Returning home to Ohio this year, I have been pleasantly surprised with the great opportunities and capabilities that Ohio brings to the nation. Having the honor to MC this event and introduce some of the biggest names in AAM is truly exciting, and I am grateful for the experience to share with you today. I'd like to highlight the great team that brought this together, especially Jess Pacheco, Emma Warner, Becky Mencher, Jason Henderson, and Micah Newberg. That we would like to share with you and engage with you throughout the session. First and foremost, for your technical issues, we have a dedicated tech support team that can be found at a dedicated tech support table in the lounge, which you can find at the top left or at the top of the screen. Jessica Pacheco and Emma Warner, who are labeled as event organizers under the People feature, will moderate the chat. So feel free to reach out to them with any general event questions that you may have. When you enter today, you'll have seen 4 tabs or venues: reception, sessions, lounge, and booths. Reception is a virtual navigation screen where you can also watch the AFWERX Director, Colonel Nathan Diller's video throughout the afternoon. Sessions is where we're at right now, and where you will also find presenters. Each session will include a question and answer session at the end. Throughout the session, if you have questions or comments for presenters, please use the Q&A feature as opposed to the chat feature. Also, please review submitted Q&As and upvote ones that are of interest to you. Using the Q&A feature will ensure our presenters can best answer your questions, and we will focus first on questions that receive the greatest number of upvotes. Next is the raise hand feature, which means that you would like to ask a question on video during the Q&A session, which can provide you an opportunity for follow-up. With the raise hand feature, when we call on you, we will unmute you and bring your video up so you can ask your question directly to the presenter. If you're unable to answer your question today, then we will follow up with an answer after the event via email. You will also see polls conducted throughout the event. We encourage you to participate in these polls. For example, the one right now is open for the initial opening questions, and you could find that under alerts and going to the poll section or tab. Second, the lounge is where you can find tables for topical discussions and speed networking for one-on-one discussions. Third, the booth is where you will find the great tech teams that we have brought to you today. Each booth has up to 5 tags, which can help prioritize your visits. Booths are in order of the host, academic institution, U.S. government organizations, and finally, industry by alphabetical order. We hope you find the lounge and booth features useful for matchmaking to connect with potential teammates and bring innovative capabilities to the supply chain or follow on small business innovative research opportunities. All of these venues will be open throughout the day, so please be sure to explore the entire platform. Finally, we plan to have 5-minute breaks between each session. Now, with further ado, to kick off this event, we have a video presentation by Colonel Nathan Diller, Director of AFWERX, which is a U.S. Air Force program that expands technology and transition partnerships for rapid and affordable commercial and military capability. Colonel Diller received his commission at the U.S. Air Force Academy in 2000. After receiving simultaneous master's degrees at both Harvard and MIT, he attended NATO Joint Jet Pilot Training and flew F-15s F-16s for 2 combat air assignments and as an instructor pilot. He was selected for the French test pilot school and then completed his test tour at Edwards Air Force Base, supporting B-1, B-2, F-16, F-22, and F-35 flight tests and instructing as a test pilot. He served as an executive officer to the Air Force Science Advisory Board and as a Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, or DARPA, Service Chiefs Fellow. Upon completing a program management tour at the Space and Missile Center, he took command of the 586 Flight Test Squadron, supervising classified flight tests for joint interagency and international clients. Colonel Diller attended the National War College at Eisenhower School, completing the senior acquisition course, and was assigned as Air and Space Branch Chief at the Joint Staff J-8. He then became the Assistant Director of Aeronautics at the White House's Office of Science and Technology Policy, and served as the Office of Secretary of Defense Strategic Capabilities Office and at the Department of Air Force's Rapid Capabilities Office. Colonel Diller is a member of the Acquisition Corps and is certified as a Level 3 Program Manager and Test Professional. He is a senior pilot with over 2,700 hours of flight and more than 50 aircrafts. So without further ado, we'll roll the video.
Thanks so much for the opportunity to speak to this fantastic audience. And thanks so much for the profound support that you have all provided in our endeavor to take Agility Prime as we look to fly orbs into a new era of aerospace. Hi, I'm Nathan Diller, the Director of AFWERX, and happy to have all of you here in this Collider event, teamed with the fantastic partners that we have here in the state of Ohio. Our opportunity today to bring together industry with government, to be able to bring the most promising emerging technologies to our Department of Defense, but do it in a way that actually supports not only our national security, but also the prosperity of our nation by launching these emergent technologies into this Agility Prime program. This is really the core of what we do here at AFWERX. AFWERX is built on partnership. Fundamentally, that partnership, looking first at our AF Ventures team. This AF Ventures team as being kind of that first pillar, and that pillar is the ability to reach out to, in many cases, non-traditional companies, but we certainly welcome companies across all sizes, really from across the United States of America, and looking to expand eventually some of our international partnerships. That open door to industry, bringing in the greatest technologies and building an industrial base for our nation, creating strength and resilience in supply chains, bringing in new ideas from the American innovation ecosystem. But that AF Ventures, where we are having those technologies without our phenomenal airmen and guardians that come through this second part, which is our Spark team, and being able to bring in those ideas, those technologies, merge them with the biggest challenges that we have in our Department of the Air Force, so that together, teaming, we are able to actually bring technology, bring talent together to now then go to this third piece, which is our transition. And that comes through our Prime team. That Prime team, first looking at Agility Prime as the first of these approaches to rapid transition of new technology. So we're here today really to look at those technologies with Agility Prime, and it's phenomenal to see the great work that's happened looking at things like autonomy, looking at things like large electrical power systems, looking at approaches to traffic management, to be able to take many aircraft through the air. For us in a military situation, obviously looking to apply mass. When we do that, the coordination of many of those vehicles. And so this idea of really what we see is a new revolution in aerospace with new propulsion approaches, new manufacturing capabilities, and new approaches to autonomy, eventually to simplified vehicle operations that allow us to think differently about what it means to potentially be a pilot, to be an operator of either a remote system a manned system, or eventually an autonomous system, and the efficiencies that will come through those different approaches to control, potentially different approaches to piloting in the future. But that only happens if we bring in these technologies, bring in new sensors, bringing in new approaches to computation, bringing in new algorithms, bringing in new large power systems, bringing in hybrid power systems that extend the range. And so we continue with Agility Prime. Over the last year, an opportunity to have partner with over 20 different companies that are out there. These are the manufacturers. And then over 200 different companies that are looking at different component technologies. An opportunity to bring in 3 companies already with airworthiness. One of those companies already manned airworthiness. We are looking to reduce the technical risk for this exciting new market that's going to revolutionize the way we transport humans and transport our equipment across this planet. That happens through that risk reduction, that collaborative risk reduction in that technology, being able to provide wind tunnels, being able to provide ground vibration testing, being able to provide computation, being able to provide our testers' expertise, and then with a regulatory risk reduction, being able to get through some of these airworthiness processes, working collaboratively with NASA, with the FAA, to not only bring this technology in for the use of our airmen, but also being able to provide data out that allows adoption across eventually our entire society to open up this new and exciting approach. And then lastly, the financial risk reduction. How can we partner with you, bring that new technology in as quickly as possible, being able to, through this Collider event, work closely with our airmen that are out there, being able to potentially identify ways for those subcomponent technologies to go directly to the manufacturers. So thank you for participating today. Thank you for the phenomenal leadership across the state and local leaders here in Ohio. And thank you so much for all the technologists that are out there, the exciting companies that you're bringing in. We appreciate you participating with us, and we look forward to future partnership with AFWERX. Have a great day.
Thanks to Colonel Diller and the AFWERX team for their continued support of technology innovation, advanced air mobility, and Ohio. Now I welcome to the stage Mr. Dennis Andersh. Mr. Andersh is the President and Chief Executive Officer of Parallax Advanced Research Corporation. Mr. Andersh is also co-lead of the OFRN program. His leadership role is to connect the organization's research to new markets while also leveraging its existing commercial business. Mr. Andersh, over to you.
Matt, thank you. And that video is a great introduction to what today is about, that you're going to learn about. Welcome to the Advanced Air Mobility Collider, hosted by JobsOhio, Drive Ohio, Fly Ohio, UAS Test Center, and the Ohio Federal Research Network. We're excited to bring academia, industry, and the government together. And as you know, that's what it's going to take to drive these new technologies into the marketplace. Collaboratively working together. If you go all the way back to the Wright brothers and the history of Ohio, the Wright brothers, if it hadn't been for the Wright brothers' invention of flight, it's a technology that has totally revolutionized the aerospace industry and the country. And I firmly believe that what you're about to see today in advanced air mobility is also going to revolutionize the aerospace industry. The Air Force and the state basically collaboratively, about 6 years ago, decided to create a UAS test center in Springfield. That UAS test center was set up as a vision to help drive technology and integrate technology across the state. OFRN focused 3 years ago on logistics delivery vehicles, UAVs, and actually flying cars at the urging of NASA Glenn to actually start pushing technologies for flying cars. And with the work that Elaine Bryant has done, JobsOhio has done with the Agility Prime and bringing new vehicles into the state and capabilities into the state is actually poised significantly well to be a leader in this advanced aerospace revolution. So I hope today that you enjoy the presentations. Look forward to your comments and feedback and interaction. and look forward for new innovation that Ohio is so well known for in the past. And hopefully you have a good session today here at the Advanced Air Mobility Collider. And Elaine, hats off to you for all you've done to make this happen, because with the Jobs Ohio and leadership, UAS Test Center, Fly Ohio, Drive Ohio, it's made it capable to bring this capability into the state to really position us well for the future in advanced aerospace. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Matt. Thank you. Have a good day today.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for your comments. For our audience, I saw a few questions as if you can watch these sessions at the same time as walking around booths. The answer is that yes, we have a live stream YouTube going. So Emma Warner will be posting that shortly, so you can watch the live stream of this event while also walking around the booth venue. So next, also in the booths, you can filter for Ohio Federal Research Network, or OFRN, to see where technologies that Ohio has invested in, to showcase that Ohio is putting its money where the rubber meets the road. So moving on, I now welcome Ms. Elaine Bryant to the stage. Ms. Bryant is the Dayton Development Coalition's Executive Vice President for Aerospace and Defense. She is also Managing Director of the JobsOhio Military and Federal Sector. In both roles, she works to preserve and protect federal assets statewide. She also leads statewide efforts to champion AAM initiatives through programs such as Agility Prime. She will also provide you the next welcoming remarks and will take you through the next 3 sessions highlighting opportunities in Ohio. Ms. Bryant, over to you.
Thanks, Matt, and thanks, Dennis, and to the entire Ohio team as we continue to lead this next revolution in flight with all our partners across government, academia, and industry. Ohio's been planning for this for a long time, so I appreciate the thanks, Dennis, but really it's the work that the state has been doing for decades now to get us ready for this push that Agility Prime has given this industry. And as an Air Force retired veteran and aerospace engineer, these are exciting times. And in my current role leading economic development efforts in the state, the opportunities are endless. And it's really exciting. As the state's economic development organization, JobsOhio recognizes the importance of not just our aerospace industries and the ecosystems, but also the partnerships with our military and federal installations. This event, in collaboration with the Department of the Air Force, Colonel Diller and his amazing team at AFWERX and NASA, is evidence of that. Thanks to all the research institutions and industry partners joining us today as we look to collaborate in research, development and testing, and then look to leverage opportunities in Ohio, the amazing manufacturing capabilities, and of course, our second to none supplier base in the state. I also want to thank the entire statewide team for making this event happen. The Ohio Federal Research Network, their excellent work with our academic and research institutions across the state, ODOT, Fly Ohio, Drive Ohio, with all their initiatives and resources, and JobsOhio and their regional partners. This collaboration highlights why Ohio is the model for leading the advanced air mobility revolution. And that may or may not have been a quote from a certain colonel, so I'll leave it at that. But we have an exciting lineup for you today. And in our next 3 sessions, our panelists will share more about the state's aerospace and defense strategy. And we will also talk about the Fly Ohio strategy and how Ohio has tied strategy to opportunity with one of our partners, Lyft. So with that, I'll see you at the next session.